Good morning, everyone. Happy March 19th, 2020, Thursday. We had about 65+% finished the rational numbers quiz, and several of you attempted it 2 times. You have up to 3 times. In an emergency, I'll let you do it a 4th time. But here's the problem with quizzes. You have to, and with assignments, you have to do the preparatory work. You have to lay the groundwork. You have to watch my videos. You have to hear my instructions. You have to do a little bit of studying before you take the quiz. You can't just take it. Your scores will not reflect what you probably know or what you should know. Okay, let's get to these grades for the quiz, and any assignments will be put in tomorrow morning, and we will issue progress reports tomorrow afternoon to see where you're at. Keep in mind, I sent out an email to your families this morning. We will start Zoom sessions, live video conferencing from 11 to 12 every school day starting with today. So if you have questions about your assignments, if you're not sure what you need to do, refer to your parents' email and the email that your parents received. It will give you instructions. If you have a phone you're going to be accessing by smartphone to the conference, you need to download the Zoom iCloud app, ZOOM iCloud app, and you'll need the meeting number and the password, which is in the email to your families. If you're doing it by laptop, I believe all you need to go is to zoom.us website, and then you should be able to access it with the meeting ID and password. All right, let's get to today's lesson. Let's talk about some familiar vocabulary. Opposite, integer, which is, of course, the counting numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and, of course, -1, -2, -3 on the other side, which makes them into integers. Absolute value is a new term for today. The opposite of a number is the same distance from 0 on a number line as the original number, but on the other side of 0. 0 is its own opposite. Let's take a look at a number line. So we're looking at number 4. Number 4 is the opposite of -4. How do we know this? Because we do 4 steps back to 0, from the -4 to 0 and the 4 to 0. So -4 and 4 are opposites. Those are your negative values, or integers in this case. And of course, to the right would be your positive. Going to your right, numbers are getting larger. Going to your left, numbers are getting smaller. Of course, all the fractions and decimals make that grow the population of integers into a population of rational numbers. Okay, 0 is neither positive nor negative. Integers, again, are the set of whole numbers and their opposites. By using integers, you can express elevation above and below sea level. Sea level has an elevation of 0 feet. For example, if you're looking at the ocean, the water on top of the ocean, before you go below the water, that's at 0. If you go 10 feet below, that's a -10 feet. If you go 10 feet above, that's a positive 10 feet. What is the opposite of -10? 10. Why is 10 the opposite of -10? Because they both are 10 steps away from the surface of the water, either coming up from the bottom or going down from the top. Remember, whole numbers are the counting numbers, 0, 1, 2, 3. So if we graph -7 and its opposite on a number line, first we graph the -7, which is 7 units away from 0 to the left. The opposite of it would be, yes, +7. Graph the integer -5 and its opposite on a number line. Here we have -5 and +5. The opposite of -5 is 5, and the opposite of 5 is -5. You can compare and order these integers by graphing them on a number line. As I said before, and you need to remember this is why some of you had problems with your quiz yesterday with rational numbers. Integers and rational numbers increase in value as you move to the right along a number line. They decrease in value as you move to the left. So we know, which one's bigger? Of course we know 4 is bigger. It's farther to the right, so 4 will be bigger. Compare these. Which one's bigger? This is where you see 15 and you think it's bigger than 9. But negative 15 is actually smaller than negative 9. Why? Because this farther to the left. Negative 9 is bigger because it's farther to the right. In other words, it's closer to 0. Which one's bigger or smaller? Yes, 6 would be bigger than negative 6 because it is farther along the line to the right. Which one's bigger? Right, negative 4 is bigger. It's closer to 0 and is to the right of negative 11. Negative 4 is farther to the right than negative 11, so negative 4 is larger than negative 11. Did I say negative 4 is larger than negative 11? That's what I meant, guys. All right. Now use the number line to order these integers from least to greatest. I will pause just for a second, give you a chance. Okay, let's look at these. You can draw out a number line. Okay, and we can put the numbers. 0, of course, is in the middle. Negative 8, negative 5, negative 3, 0, 2, and 6. Which is the largest? All the way to the right is 6. Which is the smallest? Negative 8. Which is larger, negative 5 or negative 3? Negative 3 is larger because it's closer to the right, closer to 0, to the right of negative 5. All right, do the same thing here. Let me pause. Okay, let's put these in order. Let's draw a number line. Okay, let's put these in order. Negative 5, negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, and 2. Which is bigger, negative 2 or 2? Well, 2 is bigger, and it's the biggest number on this number line because it is farthest to the right. Okay, and of course we forgot the number 4 there for a second. All right, let's get into something relatively new. A number's absolute value is its distance from 0 on a number line. You need to memorize this definition because this is critical. Because when we're talking about absolute value, we're always talking about distance, how far it is away from a given location, in this case, 0. And the fact that we're talking about absolute value, it doesn't matter whether we're coming to school 5 miles away from school or you're walking 5 miles home. Distance walking to school, distance coming home. So we can progress. A number's absolute value is its distance from 0 on a number line, as I talked about walking to and going home from school. Since distance can never be negative, absolute values are never negative. They're always positive or 0. So when you hear the word or see the term absolute value, it always refers to a positive solution. Use the number line to find each absolute value. Well, it's 8 units away, so we know that's a positive 8. 8 is 8 units from 0, so absolute value is is 8. Notice those bars, those vertical bars on each side of 8. We would read that as the absolute value of whatever is inside, in this case, 8. The symbol is what is the absolute value of. For example, the absolute value of negative 3 is the absolute value of negative 3, which is 3, which means it's 3 units away from 0. Absolute value is never negative. It's distance from 0, meaning it's always a positive value. I find the absolute value for each of these. Okay, it's 12 units away from 0, so the absolute value of negative 12 is 12. What's the absolute value of a positive 3? It's 3 units away from 0. It's 3. What's the absolute value of negative 9? It's 9 units away from 0. To the left, it is 9. Remember, absolute value means the distance from 0 on a number line, and it is never negative. It is always positive. Okay, let's try these. Try these on some scratch paper for a few minutes. I'll pause the video. Okay, let's see how you did. Is negative 32 less than, greater than, or equal to 32? Let's find out. Okay, negative 32 is less than. All right, let's talk about 26 and the absolute value of negative 26. They're equal because 26 is a positive 26. That's 26 away from 0. And the absolute value of negative 26, which is the distance negative 26 is from 0, is 26. So those values are equal. Remember, whatever happens inside those bars, when it comes out, it's a positive value. What about negative 8 and negative 12? Correct. Negative 8 is greater than negative 12 because it is closer to 0. It's farther to the right on the number line. And you should have these numbers in order. You should have negative 4, negative 2, negative 1, 3, and 5. Not bad, guys. Use a number line to find the absolute value. Well, you already know that. That means the distance from 0. So the distance negative 3 is from 0 is 3. So the absolute value of negative 3 is 3. That concludes our video session for this particular PowerPoint. It's a very basic introduction into absolute value. Please look at the absolute value videos online. And next, we're probably going to take a look at the brain pop one, and we'll go through the quiz together. Thank you. God bless.